Hello everyone, what's going on? Back again with another episode of Classic 9. As always, I'm joined by Gabriel Poco. Gabriel, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing great. What about you?
Yeah, I'm surviving. No more international football, thank God.
God, it was so... I was suffering throughout, honestly.
The thing is, though, I mean, at least Jack Grealish looked really good for England. And,
yeah, exactly. I can't believe those were his first caps.
Anyway, for the news. So we're going to start off with the advancements on the Newcastle takeover. The club have came out and basically said that they are taking the Premier League to court.
Yeah, so Newcastle have released, so the club have released an official statement in which they say that they're literally confirming that they're taking legal procedures against the EPL, which is massive news because until now it was just paper talk, but now it's official. We know what the stance of the club is. Is it better for fans? I think it is. So there's more transparency.
Well, that's the thing is though, we really are rarely, like, you rarely hear anything like communications wise from the club. So like it is like when the club does eventually comment on something, it is very big news. And there's also the fans consortium that we've mentioned in previous weeks, who I think Newcastle fans we should thank them, and of course the NUST, Newcastle United Supporters Trust, £1 a year, go join them. It's big news for us because, I mean, the Premier League are being found out now, let's face it. Like, especially, you know, when they had the big picture idea.
Yeah.
And the fact is as well, having seen like the last year with the Bin Zayed group, they've heard bid for it, but that got drawn out by the Premier League, and they've just bought Derby County, no problem, and Burnley I think have either had or are getting a takeover, as is the same case with Southampton. So like this is really a case of I'm sure it is just bias against Newcastle, but the thing is, though, obviously the big clubs won't want another mega rich club to come and challenge for silverware, you know. There's no grounds for them to reject the takeover, you know?
Yeah, which is why I think it will eventually go through.
But thankfully as well, this shouldn't happen in the public domain this time. So the Telegraph are reporting that the Saudis are very, like, should the club win this case, they're going to come back to the table with the £305 million bid. And even Rafa Benitez has chimed in saying he would like to come back to Newcastle. So it's...
Yeah, apparently he's distanced himself from Derby links,
yeah.
Which, I mean, to me is
a thing. I mean,
pretty
Derby,
big link.
Yeah, he left Newcastle after the Bin Zayed group takeover fell in 2019, so last year. He left Newcastle after their takeover bid fell through. So obviously they've now got Derby and they've gone for him again, but he doesn't want to manage Derby.
Do you think he's waiting for the opportunity to come back?
Yeah, I think he wants to come back to Newcastle. He didn't want to leave in the first place. He left because his contract didn't get renewed, you know?
He was loved by Newcastle fans. He was, I'm not going to say worshipped, but to that extent, possibly.
Oh, he probably was. Yeah, I think he was. Like, the thing is, though, it's like a lot of the criticisms we have of Bruce, we had of Benitez as well. But at least, you know, with Benitez, you know, he's a winner, you know? Steve Bruce is not. With Benitez, you can sort of respect the thinking behind it because of what he's won. And he's got a track record of winning, you know? Whereas with Bruce, obviously, he's got a track record of taking teams down. I think he's like actually Sunderland's worst ever manager. Like,
it's funny you say that.
Bruce has the lowest win rate of any manager with, I think, 300 plus games in the Premier League.
That doesn't look good. Yeah.
Yep, he's in good company with Tony Pulis and Sam Allardyce and Joe Kinnear. But yeah, it's
my days. Yeah.
I think Newcastle fans, we should be optimistic. Just say no news is good news. Hopefully this time it will work out. So this is the statement from Newcastle United on Thursday, 19th November 2020. The club has previously not commented on the arbitration it is pursuing against the Premier League with respect to its conduct relating to the proposed takeover because of the confidentiality clause in the EPL's rules. However, The club is aware of public reports which state that on November 17th, the EPL referred to legal proceedings with the club, as in social media, and referring to the club's own legal case in their words, in a letter to Newcastle supporters. The source of some reporting is said to be the EPL. It appears, therefore, that the EPL has leaked the contents of their letter to some of those commenting in the public domain. The club understands that these will be matters of great concern to its fans, and therefore considers that in light of the information disclosed by the EPL, it has no choice but to respond and update its fans in response to this coverage. The club makes no comment on the substance of the arbitration, but it confirmed that it has issued arbitration proceedings against the EPL. It is unclear when those proceedings will be resolved. Given the approach of the EPL and its lawyers Bird and Bird, nevertheless, the club will continue to use its best efforts to press for a fair, full and timely hearing of its claim. So, this could be drawn out again.
This could be drawn out, and this statement for me, it's Newcastle just sort of reinforcing their position, right? So now it's official, so now everyone knows we're actually suing the EPL, and it makes us position stronger.
Yeah. And as well, basically, we should really thank the Fans Consortium. Sorry, I forget their abbreviation, but many thanks to those guys. Hopefully, we can have some of those guys on at some point.
Next, onto the next news. So, Pep Guardiola signs new Manchester City contract to end speculation of a future. So he signed a 2-year extension. So the contract will officially run until 2023. What do you make of it?
Great news for City. Guardiola seems to be the very first manager that they've actually decided to actually stick by, and with good reason. Because that's the thing. If they were to lose Guardiola, sack him, who would they get? Pretty much everybody is in fact, I would say everybody is a step down from Guardiola.
So I personally think it's strange, because you either release him you either leave his contract around down, all right, and you could hire Pochettino, or you give him a 5-year contract, because to me, this team is aging. This team needs new blood in, and it needs time. He basically needs to rebuild a second team to win the title. And for me, it's not going to take 2 years. It's going to take much more. But again, that's
the
maybe
thing is, I guess we'll see.
They see it as
23. I mean, it didn't
exactly.
Maybe when he did the first big rebuild after sacking off all Pellegrini's deadwood and that, that team that won it in 2018 in 2018.
Oh yeah, sorry.
When they won it, and then again in 2019. But that team in 2018, that was only his second season, so there might be a very sort of quick rebuild.
But we'll see what the situation is on that. And again, I think only the future can tell us all the answers. We can't really speculate right now, because Man City, they've not started their season well. I think that's an understatement, but we'll see with Pep. We'll see what goes.
And the thing is, I really don't think anyone has started that well.
Yeah, apart from who actually has started well? No one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say anybody has started particularly well. I know Leicester. That's probably why Leicester are top. Anyway, we will return to Leicester later on. However, I will now hand it back to you, Gabriel.
We're trying to assemble an 11 of the worst players of the past decade for both our clubs. So, do you want to start, Joe?
Yeah. So for the manager, I've gone with the man himself. He says he's the best coach in the Premier League. Well, he was, but he hasn't managed in the Premier League since. I've gone with the amazing John Carver. I still can't get over the fact that he thought he was the best coach in the Premier League after losing 12 consecutive games. Anyway.
Hey, listen, you have to believe in your own ability.
Yeah, but not that much. That's like us saying we're the best podcast. We're not.
Yeah. Which we are. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. we're not yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that when the number one podcast in the world comes off.
We're still learning.
Yeah.
We're still learning. We're the number one podcast that features a Geordie and a Belgian.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Actually.
Maybe that should be like on like our sort of like, you know, our cover photos and that. The world's number one podcast featuring a Geordie and a Belgian. So John Carver, let's talk about what he's done since Newcastle.
Not much. Let's say. That's,
I think he's like the Scottish assistant manager now. Okay, here we go. So John Carver, since managing Newcastle in 2015, he has managed a club called Ammonia. And that's it, apparently. In goal.
And you're 11.
In goal, I've gone for Jack Annick. So Jack Annick, he played for Newcastle around 2014, 2015 sort of time, filling in... essentially, there was a massive injury, had massive injury problems to Tim Krul and Rob Elliott. And Jack Annick came on against Chelsea. I remember we won that game 2-1, 2 goals from Papi Cisse. But then, I think he went on to concede something like 13 goals in like 5 or 6 games. Yeah, he was terrible for Newcastle. He now plays for St Mirren up in Scotland, but yeah, he was terrible for us, Jack Annick. Oh god, just his name brings back bloody horrible traumatic memories of really bad goalkeeping. Anyway, right back, I have James Tavernier. He is the captain of Rangers now, believe it or not, under Steven Gerrard. But I think that just shows how bad the Scottish League is, that it employs Jack Annick and James Tavernier. The centre-backs that I'm using in this pairing, I've gone for Mike Williamson and Mappy Yangambiwa. So Mike Williamson, after Newcastle, he played for Wolves, and now he manages Gateshead. So he's come back to the northeast. Williamson was I don't know how he lasted so long at Newcastle, because he was at Newcastle for a long time. He was at Newcastle from 2010 to 2016. He made 150 appearances for the club. How? Just how? How the hell did he manage that? It's ridiculous. Mike, how did you last that long? Unfortunately, the only other Mike to last that long was Mike Ashley. He was still stuck with at present. So I've also gone for Mapu Yangambiwa. We signed him during our French Revolution in 2012, 2013 sort of time. I'm pretty sure it was January 2013. We signed him from Montpellier. He played for us for a year. Wasn't very good. He got Pardewed, to be honest. He definitely got Pardewed. He's a centre-back, but he got played at full-back quite a lot. After Newcastle, he went on to play for Roma and Lyon. And he actually played in the Champions League post-Newcastle, so he's done all right for himself on that one. I believe he's currently a free agent. My flatmate, who is a Roma fan, he said that they had a nickname for him, and it was it translated funny legs or something. Anyway, on to left back, I've gone for the very forgettable Antonio Barreca. So for anyone who forgets that this guy actually played for us, or that this guy existed, because let's face it, this guy's mother probably forgot he existed at this point. He played one game for her in a 1-0 defeat away to Tottenham at Wembley. That was it. That was all his contribution for Newcastle. After that, we got him on loan from Monaco. He is still technically employed by Monaco. After that, he went out on loan to Genoa, made 18 appearances there, and he's currently on loan at Fiorentina, where he hasn't made a single appearance yet. So anyway, moving on to the midfield, we have on the right Remy Cabella. We signed him from Montpellier in 2014. He scored once for her in that game where Alan Pardew headbutted a Hull player. That's pretty much the best of it. It's a shame with Cabella, because he had the potential, like he had the natural skill. He just had the upper body strength of like, God, he had the upper body strength of friggin' Baby Yoda. Like, or just anything with no upper body strength. But like, he was just like he is the reason why I'm suspicious when Newcastle sign a player from Serie A now. Like, because he was such a letdown. He currently plays for Krasnodar out in Russia. I think he's actually played Champions League football this season as well, which is just mental because he wasn't good enough. So after Newcastle, he joined Marseille on loan for a while. Then he played for, I think, Saint Etienne, or something like that, and now he's at Krasnodar. I might be wrong with Saint Etienne. Feel free to correct me if anyone knows. Then on the left, I've gone for. Do you want us to give you right? If I give you like the chant that we used to have from Gabriel, do you want to guess it?
I mean,
if I give you the chant,
no clue, to be honest.
I'll give you a hint because he played for Man United as well, so you'll probably get it. You signed him as the potential replacement for Ronaldo. He's bald, he's shit, he plays when no one's fit. Obertan! The thing is, I got some good memories of Obertan. He scored like in the 2014-15 season. We went into like November, December, still without a win. We were at home to Leicester. I remember I was at this game as well. Like, I was sitting in the Leazer's corner and like near the Leicester fans. And the game had been delayed because it was the first game, like, there was actually the big TV screen at Newcastle at St James's. So, like, the game had got delayed because of security with that. And I remember we were sitting up near the Leicester fans, and, like, it was 0-0. Like, who puts the ball in the net? Obertan. And then, like, I remember after that, the Leicester fans started throwing bottles at the Newcastle fans. But yeah, Gabriel Obertan gave me some good memories there. He scored a few times for in the Europa League as well, to be fair to him. But yeah, it's Gabriel Obertan, you know, otherwise known as Dominic Cummins. You know, he represented Epsilon 5 at international level, you know. Who else can say that? Anyway, midfield, we have a pairing of Nabil Bentaleb and Henri Saivet. So last season we got Nabil Bentaleb on loan from Schalke. I remember a lot of people being quite excited, but honestly, he's got to be probably one of the worst, if not the worst midfielder I've ever seen in a Newcastle shirt. And that's saying something. Like, he can't pass, he can't tackle, he can't dribble. What? Why is he a footballer? Like, he's terrible. And anyway, as well, actually, Bentaleb somehow used to get a game for Spurs. But his partner in this is Henri Saivet, who people might remember because he used to be good on Football Manager. Saivet, we signed the same day, actually, we signed Jonjo Shelvey. We signed him from Bordeaux for about 5 million in 2016. And he played a couple of times under Steve McLaren. Then Rafa came in, he didn't rate them, so he went out on loan a few times. I think he's been relegated from the Turkish league twice. But his most notable contribution in a Newcastle shirt has to be a 3-2 win away to West Ham, where he scored a ridiculous free kick and then also gave away a goal. So that's Henri Saivet summed up. Up front, I have gone for Luke de Jong and Haris Vukic. So people might forget that Luke de Jong used to play for us. He played for us in the 2013-14 season when we had Loic Remy on loan. He came in January for half a season, never scored. He nearly scored one against Aston Villa, but it was disallowed for offside. Then Haris Vukic, he was supposed to be like a wonder kid for us, and he never, I don't think he could even call himself that. I've got no idea where he even is now, actually, Haris Vukic. I mean, Luke de Jong at least went on to play for like Sevilla, but like Haris Vukic, I wonder where he actually is. He plays for the Segunda Division club, Zaragoza. You learn something new every day. But yeah, he had some sort of potential, I guess. He just wasn't good enough, really. He played for like FC Twente after Newcastle. That's about all I really remember about him. Anyway, on the bench, I've gone for the club's all-time most expensive goalkeeper, Matt Sells, former Belgian international as well before he signed for us. We signed him in the Championship under Rafa Benitez. And he started the first few games but made a lot of really bad errors, and he never really recovered after that. So yeah, he's earned himself a place on the bench here. I've also gone for Curtis Good on the bench. He should have been called Curtis Bad. He was an Aussie international. He was more like League 2 level player. We've also gone for the forgettable man, Roman Amalfitano, brother of Morgan Amalfitano, who you might remember used to play for West Ham. Roman did literally nothing for him. I think he played once in the Europa League. I've also gone for Sylvain Marveau, who I think is playing in the French second division, which says a lot about how good he is. Now this one people will probably dispute. I've gone for Florian Thauvin. Florian Thauvin was signed in 2016 under Steve McLaren, and he couldn't get past Gabriel Obertan in the team, so I will never say he is world class. He couldn't get past Gabriel Obertan. If you can't get past Obertan, then you probably shouldn't be a footballer. But then again, he plays for Marseille again now, in France, and you know, it's a farmers league. I've also gone for Islam Slimani and Facundo Ferreira, both strikers. Slimani got on loan from Leicester. He was injured for most of his spell with her. Then he played twice and got sent off and never played again. And Facundo Ferreira never actually made the bench for her, like ever. And he's played in the Champions League as well for Shakhtar Donetsk. But some more dishonourable mentions, because things have been bad this decade. Kennedy, Sadie Doumbia, now Ranger, Danny Guthrie, Dan Gosling, Sammy Amiobi, Sadio Haidara, Stephen Taylor, Christian Atsu, Achraf Lazar. There's so many. Yeah, Achraf Lazar is so bad he didn't even get into the 11 or the bench. A lot like in real life, actually. So anyway, what do you think of that?
It's incredible how many. I mean, you could literally. I think you could do that for every Premier League team, but it shows you, right, that to get to the top, to be a top player is not easy. Because do you see how many?
Yeah, how many of them
have been forgettable
many of them had the potential as well. I mean, like Remy Cabella, Luke De Jong went on to make something for himself. Yanga and Biwa played in the Champions League. Tavernier sort of found his level in Scotland. Matt Sells plays for Strasbourg now in the French league, Ligue 1. Roman Amalfitano plays in the bloody Saudi league or something now. Come on, Roman, help me with the takeover, mate. Florian Thauvin's at Marseille.
He's got connections.
He's again, he people I know he's a World Cup winner, but he was terrible for Newcastle, Florian Thauvin. Actually, as well, I mean, for the dishonourable mentions, I would actually put Moussa Sissoko in there as well, because he had the talent, he just never turned up.
What about Gini Wijnaldum?
Similar situation to Sissoko. I mean, when you're in a relegation scrap with a team that shouldn't have ever really been there, as well. I mean, we had Chancellor Mbemba in that team, Fabrizio Collicini. We had some really good players in that team, but granted, they were being managed by Steve McLaren, which probably had a lot to do with it. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, for Newcastle, Sissoko and Wijnaldum they were bottle jobs. They were two best players, but they were technically they were the two best players, but they were bottle jobs. Were best players in terms of performances that season were probably Rob Elliott and Andros Townsend and even Jamal Lascelles, and that's saying something because he only came in at the back end of that season. He only started playing for the back end of that season. But I mean, you look as well. I mean, now Ranger. I mean, he plays non-league now. And Sammy Amiobi's at Nottingham Forest. Christian Atsu's still at Newcastle. I've got no clue where Masadio Haidara is, or Kennedy for that matter. Actually, I don't know if he's still at Chelsea, but like, yeah, it's it just goes to show how hard like players actually have to work to have some sort of longevity. You know?
Yeah. It also shows that sometimes they just don't fit a certain system or a certain team or a certain city or
I mean, like, you know, Kvela Tovan have to be the best examples of that. I mean, like, you know, they've like Remy Kvela's played Champions League football with Krasnodar this season in Russia. Anyway, onto yours.
Onto mine.
So have you gone for his manager?
I'll start with the manager as you did. I've gone for David Moyes. Now, my manager is David Moyes for the very simple fact that he finished 7th with a team that finished first season before. And you may argue that that team was past it, but the points gap was way too big, and that team still had world-class players, experienced veterans, and you don't finish 7th with that team. You don't let, I think Southampton finished above us that season. You don't let that happen. I'll start with the 11. So in goal, I put Victor Valdez. You may have forgotten he played for us, but it was probably the most useless signing ever. Honestly, he came from Barcelona. Honestly, and afterwards, I think he was at, he wasn't at Stoke. He was at
Middlesbrough.
I don't remember where he was.
It was Middlesbrough after Man United.
Yeah, he played, I think, 3 games for us. And
the thing is,
literally did nothing. So
can I just say, when he went to Middlesbrough, he wound up being second choice there as well.
Yeah, the most pointless signing ever.
I think he wound up behind Darren Randolph in the pecking order, and that's saying something.
Which tells the whole story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So at left back, I've gone for Cameron Browith Jackson. So he was actually promising in the 15-16 season under Van Gaal, and had a good game against Chelsea away, if I remember correctly. But I think then there were questions about his mental strength, and so he was dropped. We never got to see him really after that. And now I have no clue where he is. He's probably in League 2 or League 1. So sad to see.
Fans.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to you. My central defensive partnership it's terrible. It's made up of Phil Jones, the mighty Phil Jones, and of Tyler Blackett. So you may remember him from the game against Leicester, the 5-3. Because he got sent off, didn't start well, and we never really got to see him after. He'd never recovered, so it's a shame. But yeah, and then I put Phil Jones because obviously Phil Jones is a calamity. Honestly, Sir Alex lauded him as a brilliant player. He said that he was going to be better than he was going to be the best player we've ever had. Basically, that's what he said, which is you can't get more wrong than that. Honestly, he was promising. He came from Blackburn as a good young defender, but never really developed. He still makes rash decisions when he plays because he hardly plays anymore. So I just hope we can get him, sell him this summer and get it over with. So my right back is Guillermo Varela, which he played a few games to be fair in the Champions League. Now he plays for a team in Denmark, which we play in the Europa League. He had a few good games, notably against Arsenal at Old Trafford, but he faded afterwards, and we never, I think he went that summer, and Jose, I don't think he would have been in Jose's plans anyway, so yeah, he was cursed from the beginning, let's say.
He was the original Diego Dallo.
Yeah, exactly. Although Dallo's at AC Milan, whereas Varela's at Copenhagen. So it's not the same.
Can I ask,
AC Milan
did you remember there's one player I want to ask if you remembered to put him in? Alexander Butner.
I might put him on my bench instead of Cleverley. I might put him
on
the bench.
He was a left back.
I forgot about him.
He was a left back.
No, I know he was a left back. Yeah, but he could be on the bench if I put him on the bench.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Cleverley was worse.
Oh God, yeah, that's a good shout. They were both terrible. Butner played 1 game against
West Brom, and he conceded 5.
Norwich at home.
He was part of that West Brom. You know Fergie's last game, the 5-5.
Yeah, the 5-5.
Yeah, he was in defence.
Conceded 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not surprising. He got turned over by Lukaku, made him look like a like a toy. So in my midfield, I've gone with Fellaini. Now, people may argue and may say that although he was never the United player archetype, he played well. Well, I'll argue that we used him as a emergency case. We would just play long balls to him and hope he could flick them onto a striker. Like and Jose and Van Gaal will play him in midfield when he has no passing range. All he is tall and physical, but he has no passing range. He's not a midfielder. He was literally a second striker at Everton, and you play him in midfield. So that was a bit outrageous for me. So I decided to put him in just because I don't like what he stands for. But obviously, he's not a bad player, but I just think he was the wrong fit. Next to him, I've put Schneiderlin. Now, he came from Southampton with a good, like, not pedigree, but I don't think he was a bad player. Like, do you remember him as a bad player at Southampton? He was not a bad player.
No, he was really good at Southampton. Honestly, I'm surprised he's not starting Cleverley over Schneiderlin in this. Schneiderlin was better for us than Cleverley.
I'd say we expected like Schneiderlin to do better than what he did. He was really anonymous for a year and a half. So, because he played under Jose for like one game, so terrible.
The thing is, though, I mean, did he play him properly? Like
no,
Southampton
was
like a really, really sort of like he's kind of like you would be great in sort of a midfield pivot, I think.
But we played him in a midfield pivot. We played him with Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, you've got two
in a midfield pivot in front of the back.
Yeah, at that point in Schweinsteiger's career, those players would be too similar.
We'll have Schweinsteiger as the third midfielder. Again, I'll quote Ed Woodward on this. So Ed Woodward said that this signing will strike fear in our opponents. I don't think it did, to be honest.
He came with a lot of hype. But at this point, it was like, when we signed Patrick Kluivert, he was past it,
Yeah, it was past it. And it doesn't matter if the player's messy. If you sign at 50, he's still 50.
Yeah. I mean, it's like trying to sign, like, like Ronaldinho or the fat Ronaldo or...
No, to sign Ronaldo now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if he's Ronaldo, he's still fat and wants burgers. You know what I mean?
Cristiano in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Maradona.
Maradona wants, you know what he wants. Yeah,
he wants
that
we know what he wants.
White powder.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm honestly surprised. Do you remember Robbie Fowler's celebration where he sniffed the goal line?
Oh, mate, he did that. For
yeah.
Now
I'm surprised that wasn't like Maradona's signature celebration. Like, how Bale has the love heart, Sturridge has the dancing. Yeah. Like, Maradona's should have been like sniffing the goal lines.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I saw, I think it was in South America, a player actually did that celebration, and he got sent off. The referee was having none of it. It was like, what are you doing? Like, yeah. So I have an amazing front three for you next, though.
Yes, let's see this.
Alexis Sanchez. Yeah. So I have.
Can I guess the
Alexis
other two?
Sanchez.
Can I guess the other two?
Right. Yeah.
I'll be
pretty obvious for trying.
I think I know who you're going to go for. I think you've gone for Bebe and Gabriel Obertan.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head. Like, they were my first two picks. They're the most obvious names when you talk about flops.
Yeah.
Bebe and Obertan. And Bebe is it's actually, the story behind his signature is fascinating. Did you know the story?
No, I didn't.
So the story is basically Bebe was a homeless in Brazil, and so what he did to earn some money is that he applied to play in what we call the Homeless World Cup, which is an actual tournament. And I don't know why, but some scouts from Man United were at the tournament. And they scouted him and they thought, let's sign this guy. So that's how we signed him. We literally signed a homeless guy.
Because he felt sorry for him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. And I think he played well for about 15 minutes and then it went downhill from there.
Yeah, it's like, do you remember, what was he called? Ali Dia? the guy who tricked Graham Souness into signing
in the 90s,
him because he said he was Weir's cousin.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bebe told Sir Alex, probably told Sir Alex
that he was Ronaldo's cousin.
Ronaldo's cousin. I mean,
Gabriel Obertan told him that he was Ribery's brother.
Yeah, he believed him. Yeah, he thought,
well, they
look similar without the scars.
Yeah.
So we actually have a player in common in Obertan.
Yeah. Oh, actually, another one I should have put in my dishonorable mentions. Michael Owen.
Oh yeah. From the 2000s, not the 2010s.
Oh yeah, from the 2000s. Yep, that's right. That kind of.
Because I could have put.
If I were to do it all time.
Alan Smith.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So could I. He never even scored a goal for us.
Alan Smith.
Yeah, he never scored a goal for us. And we played him up front.
The only goal I remember. Oh my God! How can you not score a goal when you play up front?
Well, ask Luke De Jong or Islam Slimani or Facundo Pereira. Can I just say, right?
Yeah.
The league goals in this team, right? I can count like. So there's none, one, none, none. So that's what? Williamson, Cabela, Obertan, and Sivey. Yeah, so that's 4 goals I've got in this team. And I mean, on the bench as well. I mean, I've got none, and none. Literally no goals on the bench there. If we're going by league games.
So literally, for 17, how many? 18 players, that amounts to 5 goals or something.
4 goals in the entire team.
4 goal contribution by 18 players.
Yeah, I've got the best, worst team here, like.
Yeah. You'll win.
Yeah.
Wait,
because I had Mike Ashley. Cheers, Mike.
So I put Bebe on the left, Obertan on the right, and Sanchez up front. For obvious reasons. Now, my bench, this is very interesting. So I put Lindegaard as the goalkeeper.
Lindegaard was quite good for you.
Yeah, but he conceded 5, like against West Brom. Again, he was in goal for that.
I can think of worse ones you've had. Lindegaard, Lee Grant.
I thought of putting Lee Grant, but he's not even a player. He's just an ambassador for me.
Lindegaard was like pretty reliable for you. Like, in fact, at one point, Fergie preferred him to De Gea. So.
Yeah, true. At one point, yeah. To be honest, they're interchangeable. You could put Lindegaard or Grant. I agree. Grant didn't do much. He played 2 games for us, so.
Yeah, I would probably put Grant there.
So next up, I have Michael Keane. A good player for Everton now, but
yeah, he wasn't very good
at United. He played in, if I'm not mistaken, he played in the 4-0 loss to MK Dons, and that literally signaled the end for him at United.
Do you remember his brother as well, who played for you, Will Keane? He was way more useless.
As a striker, yeah.
Yeah. Like he was meant. Like Man United fans, I remember at one point were saying, "Oh, he's going to be like the next George Best," and now Will Keane, I think, has just fell off the face of the map.
I'm glad Will Keane exists. Do you know why? Because had he not got injured in the warm-up for I think it was last 16 tie against Midtjylland, Rashford would not have made his debut.
The thing is, though, what was Will Keane doing in that squad anyway? I could have sworn he was out on loan at Hull or something then.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Will Keane exists. Hi, Will.
Yes. Hi, Will. This is for you. Your only bit of relevance.
Yeah, this is your people acknowledging you for the year. Hope you're doing all right. Got no clue where you are in the world now, so. Aye.
Next up, we have Angel Di Maria. Now, he actually got 11 assists that season, so the 15 season, but he gave up after like 5 months, and now there have been reports that he got burgled.
Yeah,
which is why he would have, he
didn't want to sign for years from the start. He always wanted to go to PSG anyway,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a player who just didn't want to play.
We forced him. And that's literally the Woodward era at its finest. We pay for a player who doesn't even want to come here.
Well, that's a lot of them by the sounds of it. Honestly, at this point, I'm surprised you guys aren't trying to sign Mesut Ozil.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Would be perfect. A big name. Or Zlatan 40.
Yeah, or better still, Zlatan's child, which is probably about 30 or 20.
Okay, let's just re-sign Beckham. He's 47, but
God, is Beckham 47?
Yeah, he is.
God, I didn't know that. He doesn't. I don't know. I haven't seen him in years.
Right, I'll just quickly scroll through these. Then Memphis Depay. He just flopped. He just flopped. He came in with a big hype again. He was a very promising winger from the Eredivisie, but he obviously couldn't handle the pressure. Rooney was
too young. He was too young when you signed him. I agree. I think he will wind up back at Man United at some point.
Perhaps. I think he'll go to Barcelona. I think they want him, but yeah.
The thing is, though, I'm surprised Barcelona aren't just signing players that used to play for Barcelona.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you know anyone who used to play for Barcelona?
Oh, Victor Valdés, actually, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. Patrick Kluivert did as well.
And then I put Nick Powell.
Oh God, yeah. Remember when you signed him from Crewe?
The most, literally,
he's a bang average championship midfielder. He's a good player in the championship. Yeah. What? Because you forgot he existed.
Yeah.
And guess what? Nick Powell didn't used to play for Barcelona. That's the quote of the day. Nick Powell never played for Barcelona.
All right. Let me quickly finish this. So then we have Radamel Falcao. He did nothing. I'll reiterate it. Nothing. He came on loan from Monaco, and I think he scored 1 goal. How can you pay for? How can you get a player this big? He's a big player at Atletico, right? How can you get a player this big for him to do nothing?
Well, I mean,
literally,
look at Jackson Martinez as well after Atletico. Also, I've just remembered 2 really bad strikers for us for Newcastle that I forgot to mention: Hosselu and Emmanuel Riviere. Because when you started talking about getting a player from Monaco, I was just like, oh yeah, Riviere, we got a striker from Monaco because he was Falcao's strike partner at Monaco.
So, and last but not least, I put cleverly,
a very clever decision.
Yeah, I think after Ferguson left, he was never the same player, if he was ever a player. But he literally, I think he gave up because he couldn't get along with Moyes, and then we quickly got rid of him afterwards, and God knows, I think now he's at Watford, but yeah.
Yeah, he's at Watford in the Championship now.
Yeah.
Right, I remember he played for Everton. I think he played for Aston Villa as well. I might be wrong on that, but yeah.
Aston Villa fans, you can confirm.
So anyway, let's move on to the predictions for this weekend. I went a bit over the top with that, but fuck it. I love how we're just open, you know what? This is what I want this show to be now, just this. Anyway, so kicking off this weekend, we have my team, Newcastle United. We're at home to Chelsea in the 12:30 p.m. kickoff. So we absolutely got what arse was handed to by Southampton because Steve Bruce decided Miguel Almiron is a defensive midfielder, which he isn't. But you know what? Maybe that could be the quote of the day. Nick Powell didn't play for Barcelona, and Miguel Almiron isn't a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, you know what? I actually think Bruce picks his team by doing the lottery. So he puts paper, like names of your players on papers. He puts in a bowl. He shakes it and just takes out papers and literally. So who am I gonna play CDM today?
Miguel, I'm gonna play it today. I thought you might do a bit better even further back, so I'm gonna put you at centre back. I know you're only about 5'4", but I think you'll be a really good partner in between Jamal Lascelles and Jamal Lewis. I mean, it worked with Jacob Murphy at right back. But Chelsea have been fantastic in the last few games, haven't they?
I mean, yeah, but to be fair, they've played. Really good. But they've played teams, play 16th or below. So it's, you could catch them out. I think.
The thing is, though, this is a game that we're expecting nothing, but we tend to win these kinds of games. So
we'll probably win it 1-0.
1-0, Callum Wilson. I'm going to say
okay,
that.
So
what are you saying?
I know that this... Okay, so despite what I just said, I'm still going to go for a Chelsea win. I'll probably go 2-0.
Anyway, the next game. We've got an amazing clash in this next game. It is Villa Brighton.
I think, I think it's going to be a draw. That's a draw.
I'm going to say 1-1 on this.
All right, the next game after that is Tottenham, who hosts Man City.
This should
Jose
be a
against
good
Pep. Yeah.
Be a good game.
Although it's probably going to be, the bus against the all-out attack team. The double-decker bus. So I think this is a Man City win. So 2-0.
I think this is going to be a good game, actually. I'm going to say 3-2 City.
Oh yeah, so a close, a tight affair. Next one, Manchester United against West Bromwich Albion. I don't want to dwell on this game too much. I think Solskjaer needs to win if he wants to stay in the job. So
I know it really is a mid-table clash. Mid-table beats relegation.
It is. But yeah, so we have to win that game to pick up some momentum.
I think you will.
I'll say 2-1.
I'm going to say 2-0 Man United on that one. Moving
Next
on to
game.
the Sunday, 12 o'clock, we have Fulham Everton. Everton have, of late, have really dropped, haven't they? I mean, without Richarlison. I think Richarlison's back for this game. You know what? I think Everton are still good enough. I think Everton 2-0.
I agree, even though they've lost their last 3 league games, which is a record by Ancelotti. I mean, I think he hadn't lost 3 league games in a row since 2006 with AC Milan, so it was a pretty long time. Even though that's the case, Fulham is terrible. So I agree with you. I think it's...
return to winning place for Everton on this.
Yeah, 3-1.
Amazing next game. Oh, Gabriel, you've never seen a game like this before. It's an amazing clash. It's Sheffield United versus West Ham.
Are we going to have to pay £15 for this?
No. This one, they've stopped doing that. Oh, that's something we could have talked about. True. Anyway, for those of you who are wondering why we didn't mention it in the news, the Prem have stopped charging fans for games on the pay-per-view. Yep, that's very good. So, that's gone now, thank God. Anyway, Sheffield United West Ham. I'm going to go 0-0.
No, I'll go for a West Ham win, like a 1-0 win.
I think Sheffield United will be too frustrating for them. So next we have Leeds Arsenal. This could be a pretty good game, actually. The thing is, the Leeds have lost heavily quite a lot lately. So I'm going to say 2-2.
Right, so... Okay, I was going to say 2-2 as well, but I'll be different. So, although Leeds are a good team, the teams they've lost to are teams they're meant to lose to. So, like the top 6 teams. So I'd expect the same here. Although I don't think Arsenal are that good. Like they've just lost 3-0 to Aston Villa.
I think Leeds will get something out of this.
Yeah, Leeds are a better team, but I just think even though they won't deserve the result, they'll still get it. So I'll go for a 2-1 win. 2-1 Arsenal win.
Next we'll have Liverpool-Leicester. The 2 fit Liverpool players will be taking on Leicester. I'm going to say...
No, it'll be...
Yeah. Do Liverpool have a team that they can field for this?
It's going to be basically Mane, Jota, Firmino, and then Milner. Milner,
Wijnaldum.
and then Alisson.
Yeah. Forgot Wijnaldum. That's the thing. Give it a while. Like Minamino will be injured, Firmino will be injured, Mane will be injured, Salah's probably got COVID. Wijnaldum will be injured. I think Leicester are gonna nick this. I think I'm gonna go 1-0 Leicester on this.
Oh, I'm gonna go for a draw because I want it to be a draw so bad. So there's still a Gabriel race going on. So
yeah. Oh, I've just seen the Monday night kickoffs. You know, I love me some Monday night football. And in the 5:30 p.m. kickoff on Monday, we have an amazing clash. We have the mighty Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace. Fun fact: Roy Hodgson helped build the actual old Crystal Palace, and he also helped demolish it. So yeah, he used to live there.
Yeah. He was the one who burnt it. He was the one who burnt it in the 30s.
Yeah, well then again, I mean, Crystal Palace's mascot is the eagle, and Roy's an owl. So you know, maybe he just he felt threatened. I'm not going to dwell on this one too much. I'm going to say an amazing game with lots of action. I'm going to go 0-0.
I'm going to go with a 0-0 as well, just for the joke.
Sorry, Burnley. I know you guys have become a bit of a running joke in this series. We don't hate you, Burnley. It's just you're a boring team to watch, and so are Newcastle. It's just you're Burnley. I think. And
the last game of this, match day will be Wolves against Southampton. What do you reckon?
A good game. I'm going to say 1-0 Wolves.
I'm going to go for a draw, a 2-2 draw this time. I just think Wolves are a good team at home and Southampton are a good team away, you know, coincidentally. So that makes up for a draw. That's a draw, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be 1-0 Wolves. I think Wolves. Southampton are on a good run of form, but Wolves have the quality there. So, I mean, that's my opinion. But, I mean, that's the fixtures for this week. So that's, it'll be, especially Burnley, it'll be a game to remember.
All right, should we do the outro?
Yep, I think it's time to say goodbye to everybody listening. Thank you very much for listening, as always. You know, like, subscribe, the usual places. Follow her on Spotify, all the usual places, all that usual good stuff. Take care, and goodbye.
Goodbye.